Welcome to Reckless Paradise, everyone. I'm your host, Marissa. I'm here with my co-host, Dystro. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope everybody is having a very good week. I've had a pretty decent week so far.
Yep, same here.
Besides the fact that I had a really bad headache earlier this week, one of the nights, but it happens. It happens to the best of us. And the best you can do is just try to get better. That's. I literally had to fucking get on Xbox for 20 minutes, and like after 20 minutes I'm like, okay, I can't be on any longer. I need to go to bed.
And me being the stupid person that I am, I was up till like almost 5 o'clock one night
You
or
are not
into the
supposed to
next.
be doing that, Mr. Dystro.
hmm
That's why you got bags under your eyes like Squidward.
No, it's just because of the people that I work with sometimes.
Well, I mean, wait, you mean in work or like this work?
Work.
Work. Okay, not work.
No,
I,
not this work, but my actual
work.
work.
Yes, work. Okay, we're gonna drive our viewers away. Um,
If you stuck
but
around, we appreciate it.
yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I hope you guys all had a really good week. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I am sure you guys liked tonight's episode. As promised, this is part 2 of our ACDC album ranking. Before you watch this video, if you have not seen part 1 yet, please go take a look at that. We just uploaded it a week ago as of today. We did numbers 17 to 11. So
hmm
go check that out. And tonight we're doing 10 to 6. This is going to get fucking like anxiety inducing for me because like we literally had like one little like, why the fuck did you put it so low kind of thing already on episode 1. So,
Well, it wasn't to that extreme. It was just
oh, it's gonna get bad, my dude.
well, it was just because like I was just shocked that you put stiff upper lip like so kind of low.
That was like the same with me and you for fucking for those about to rock. I'm like, why is it so low?
I mean, to each their own. Like I said, to each their own.
All right, I got my cranberry juice here. I'm ready to go. Are you ready?
I got 4 balls of water and some water that has some raspberry lemonade squirt in it.
That sounds good. Anyways, you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do the same exact thing as we did the last time we did part 1. We're gonna like we're gonna say our number 10, and we're gonna talk about our number 10, regardless of whether it's the same or if it's different. And then after that, we'll move on to 9 and stuff like that. So, Daisha, do you want to say your number 10?
I'll let you go first this time.
Okay, my number 10 is Powerage.
Okay. That
What's
was my
yours?
that was my number 12 in the last episode.
Okay.
My number 10 was high voltage.
Okay, yeah. So we literally just like flip flop there.
Yeah.
So we kind of had the same general idea for these two. High voltage we mentioned in part 1, but we can mention it again. That was my number 12 in part 1. So
Mm.
High Voltage, their very first album that came out back in '74. This was also our first album that we started out the pilgrimage on, believe it or
Mm.
not.
Which was like pure fucking luck right there.
Yeah, it's like that was fucking awesome. Like, oh, I can't fucking beat it. Like, you get to fucking hear how they started out, and like I can see why you put it at number 10. It's a pretty solid album, to be honest.
hmm because like it has like hits like sit next to like
Can I
sit
sit next
next
to
to you,
you?
girl, and then like fucking TNT and um oh god, it's like
The title track, High Voltage.
Gaio track high voltage. But I was like, I'm trying to remember the opening track. It was like In School of Rock. Can't remember the fucking name.
It's a long way to the top.
Yeah, so it was. It's a long way to the top. um, but like it's a very good like I said, like that's I put it at number 10 because it was like when we first started doing the pilgrimage thing. I was like, okay, I didn't want to go too low because I was like, like you gotta just see how good it is until you rank it. So then, like, I think we were like maybe almost done with the pilgrimage, and I started like working on my list like right away. Like,
Jeez.
um, and we were not even like I think we were like 4 albums or 3 albums away from being done, sort of thing.
Kind of like in the same situation we are right now with Blink. I haven't even started my Blink list. I'm gonna be
Oh, I
honest.
haven't either. I haven't either. So,
It's gonna be easier because there's only like 9 albums plus the new one. But um, so High Voltage, like I said, I had mentioned that already in part one. That was my number 12, so I'm not gonna go over it again from my point of view. Um, I'm really happy I made it to your top 10. That is fucking awesome. Hats off.
well, I mean, yeah, I had to put it in my top 10. I was like, because it's like if I didn't, I think it'd just be kind of like how should I put it? It's like if I didn't put it in my top 10, it just doesn't feel right,
It doesn't
sort of
feel
thing.
right. Yeah. I also had a Bond album for my top 10, which was Power Age. Power Age came out in 78, I believe. Yeah, because it was Let There Be Rock, Power,
Hmm.
Highway to Hell. That's when they came out in order. Power
Hmm.
Age came out in 78. I personally like the sound of this album. Like just like the way everything sounds. Like like certain albums have their own like specific sound. Like
Hmm.
this is one of those albums for me. And my favorite track would have to be Riff Raff, just because honestly I feel like that's Angus's best guitar work of all time, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
not much
same.
of Bond's vocals in this one. It's
No,
mainly just guitar.
which is like I said, like in the previous one, I believe like it's good to let like the instruments do the music for you, like tell the story for you, because then it's just
Right.
like okay, like you could be like in for a ride, or you could just be like taken on a freaking journey, and
Yeah.
you're just and it's like and a blink of an eye, and it's done, and it's like wait a minute, like it's just like okay, all right.
So that
It,
is number 10.
mhm.
Um Let me think here. Is there anything? Another song. Okay, so if I had to pick another song to go for Power, it has to be "Kicked in the Teeth." That song is also very good.
Yeah.
It kind of caught me by surprise when I heard it for the first time. All right, so we're on to number 9. Let's hear what you have for number 9.
My number 9 is Let There Be Rock.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. My number 9 is Back in Black.
It's funny. I'll get to it when we get to number 8. Um, it's funny that like I heard "Let There Be Rock" earlier today.
Oh no shit. What did I hear today? I heard AC/DC today. I just don't remember what fucking song it was. It was Bond. I don't remember which one it was. Um
I
Man,
remember
I
like Riff
feel like
Raff.
I'm gonna get fucking spitballs thrown for saying that Back in Black is number 9, because that's a lot of people's number ones.
Uh, here's my thing on it. I think it's just because some of the songs on there are just overplayed a lot,
Yeah,
and I mean, come at me in the comments. I don't give a shit. Like some of the songs on there, it's just so overplayed.
yeah. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of brief history on this album real quick while it's in my head. So Back in Black, yes, this album ACDC's probably ACDC's most successful album of all time.
Mhm.
This album came out in 1980 following the death of lead singer Bon Scott. They had the replacement Brian Johnson in the picture. Perfect fucking fit, by the way. I don't think there could have been anybody better to really
Yeah,
replace Bon.
it's like if he wasn't in the picture, I don't think like ACDC would have succeeded if it as it did.
I totally agree. Back in Black is ACDC's most sold album of all time. I think it's like in the top of all time for most sold albums in general from like
Mhm.
any group. Um, it's broken many records. It's phenomenal. I love this album. I really, really, really do. The only problem with it, it's like you said, a lot of the songs are overplayed. Like you hear "You Shook Me All Night Long," "House
Back in Black.
Bells," "Back in Black," "Shake." I hear "Shake a Leg" on the fucking radio weekly, which is odd because a lot of people don't really like that song. A lot of people feel like that's the weakling of the album. Then there's me. I love that song. "Have a Drink on Me" is played a lot. I don't hear "What Do You Do for Money, Honey" a lot, which is odd because it's like one of my favorite tracks. If I had to pick a track, like there's two tracks that come to mind. "Hell's Bells," obviously, like that's like my favorite track of all time from that album. It gives me goosebumps every time I hear it because I think of Bond. It's that and "What Do You Do for Money, Honey." Those are really, really good tracks.
Yeah, it's like I said, like some of the songs, like yeah, they get played like overplayed a lot, and that's why it's kind of like I think it would be kind of like lower on some people's lists,
Yeah.
like ours, for example. But it's like like when some people think of AC/DC, like they automatically think like, oh, Back in Black, or like Hell's Bells, or like you shook me all night long and stuff. So it's like it just gets, like I said, like gets overplayed a lot, and it's kind of sad that you have to put it on a lower on the list. So
Like I love "Hell's Bells" though. Like honestly, I don't even mind if that gets overplayed. That's like the one song I can actually like. Okay, I'd love to hear this every day.
yeah.
So your number 9 was "Let There Be Rock." Kind of surprised by that, not gonna lie, but not as surprised as part 1. So
Gotta bring up old wounds.
so "Let There Be Rock" came out in 1977. As a kid, this was my favorite album by AC/DC. This was like before I knew about any other albums existing by AC/DC, like any like the other ones I haven't heard before. This was my favorite album because it's literally all fucking hits. Like they're like there's like no skips in this album. Like they're all good.
Yeah, especially the main, like the title track.
Let
Let
There
there be
Be
rock.
Rock. Oh my god.
Let there be rock.
The fucking music video. That's
Hey kids, you want to see Jesus Christ get resurrected?
the resurrection of Jesus
And the
1977.
death of Jesus Christ. Jesus.
1977.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, it's a little inside joke between us, but it's like,
Minecraft.
yeah, like go watch the music video if you haven't already. It's freaking like hilarious. Like if you just do like your own social commentary behind it.
Like for starters, fucking Blind Sky is just literally like someone who goes to church, someone who's like a pastor, kind of like Jesus Christ kind of thing. And you have fucking Angus with a halo on his head, and he's just like jamming onto the guitar and making
Like an
funny
older boy.
faces.
He's like an older boy.
Oh my god, I fucking love it. So what's your like most notable track for that?
Jeez. I was gonna say Let There Be Rock, but that could be like kind of like cheating. Whole Lot of Rosie, maybe.
Damn, you took mine. That's like a fucking banger. It's like I think it's the closing track. Yeah, that's the closing track. Holy shit. By the way, spoiler alert, we will get to this album again in this episode. So it is on my top 10 to 6. So yeah. All right, number 8. I've got Power Up for number 8.
My number 8 is Back in Black.
Okay, so we're kind of on the same page. So
My number 6 has it, like we'll get to number 6, but it's like, yeah, like I'm surprised your number 8 was Power Up.
yeah, yes, it is the most recent album from AC/DC. This came out back in 2020. This album caught me by surprise. I was not expecting AC/DC to drop an album during the pandemic, like literally in 2020. I've been working on stuff since Malcolm had passed and stuff like that. Really, really good album. This album, once again, I'm really surprised that AC/DC's not going to tour for this album. I'm kind of sad by that, but they have their reasons. But I'm still holding on to hope that it'll happen someday. Um, Power Up, man. The thing with Power Up, though, I heard a lot of the hits on the radio before the album came out. It was kind of like a Billy Talent Crisis of Faith situation. where half the album was released before the album came out. Half the songs were released as singles before the album even dropped, like
Right.
"Rich as Spell," "Realize,"
Shot in the
"Shot in
Dark.
the Dark," "Through the Mist of Time." I feel like I'm forgetting one. Probably not. But yeah, those were all released before the album even came out. But I remember hearing on Show when the album came out, like literally 24 hours later, that it was at number 1 on the charts. Like, holy shit, already?
Yeah.
um,
It was crazy.
if I had to think of a track that I would recommend anybody to listen to from this album, it's probably let me think. What the fuck? I have like 2 in my mind. It's either Code Red, which is the closing track, or Kick You When You're Down. That one's really good too.
If I had to pick like 2, I would say Shot in the Dark, because it's kind of like upbeat sort of song, which
It's
I
a
kind of like.
banger.
Yeah, a banger. It was like Shot in the Dark and like Through the Mist of Time, because it's just because of the fucking music video.
Oh yeah, fucking so Miss Time. That fucking made me cry. Like, and I wasn't even like hormonally inclined either. Like, I was just like bawling because I love this group so much, and like the thought that this could very much so be their very last album. Like, we don't know what the future holds for them. They're getting up there in age. Malcolm just passed in like 2017. We don't know. Like, we just do not know, and it just like, the longer these bands exist and put out music, the more we realize that time with them is limited now. Like,
For
we just
real.
don't know what's gonna happen. Like, we don't know when someone's gonna pass from day to day.
Yeah, and that's the fucked up thing too, because it's like the first, like the day that, like, it's like you could just be like talking about them like the day before, and then it's just like the next day it's like, oh, and they're gone. And it's just like what the fuck, like.
Literally, like, I'm scared of fucking Angus dying. Like, that is like my worst fear, Angus, because he's the only young brother left. Malcolm died, George died. Malcolm and George died like literally months apart from each other. That must have been fucking absolutely terrible for Angus. And Angus is the only one that's left. And like, Angus is like one of the founding members left of AC/DC. And it's just like, when he dies, what's gonna happen? Like, you cannot replace Angus. I'm sorry, but you cannot replace him. Maybe you can replace Malcolm like they did. They brought in his nephew Stevie, but you can't replace Angus. I'm sorry, like, you cannot. It's impossible.
I think if I'm just saying, like, if it ever got to that point, like Angus couldn't like hardly play anymore or something, like just do like what they did with Tupac and just do like the hologram sort of thing.
Oh my god, yeah.
It would just, I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be Angus doing it, but it's like, hey, at least it's something.
It's something, yeah.
And like he could just do the you know, just play the classics.
Was that riff raff? Yeah. All right, so we got 2 numbers left. This is going by quicker than I thought. Number 7. What did you put?
I put Razor's Edge.
No.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I knew this was gonna happen.
Oh my god, no fucking way. I put Let There Be Rock for number 7. Really though? What the fuck?
Hey, I'm not trashing on the album. It's a really, really good album.
Oh, my fucking brain hurts. Oh
Just
my god. Okay, before we get to yours, I know we already mentioned Let There Be Rock, but yes, like I said, really good album. One of my favorites from my childhood. I think my childhood heart is happy knowing that Let There Be Rock made it to my top 10. So, like, I feel like I'm satisfied inner child me. So, Let There Be Rock. Now, I have written down Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be as my song of choice, which is interesting because I haven't heard this song in quite a while. It's heavily underrated, but you definitely should go listen to it if you want to become a fan of this album. It's like amazing. The fucking riff. Dun, 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 dun,
Dirt,
dun.
dirt, dirt, dirt.
Alright, let's see what you have to fucking say about Razor's Edge.
Hey, whoa, hey.
I'm getting my
Coming
boxing
on to
gloves on as we speak.
it.
I will fight to the death for this album.
Okay, I know you're upset and you're rightfully so, but hear me out. But hear me out. I know that like a lot of people is gonna be like, why'd you put it at number 7? Why is it not in your top 5? I get that. At least it's in my top 10.
Yes.
Let that be a fact here. It's in my top 10. At first, it was in my top 5. But then when I listened to it more, I was like, okay, I had to put it somewhere because I had switched around some things, and I was like, okay, I didn't want to change anymore because then it's like if I think too hard about it, it's gonna like fuck up with my brain, and I'm gonna be like, okay, no, this is not the right place, and then but and it's like I just wanted to just be done with the whole list. I just wanted to be done. So,
Now, what would be your go-to track for this one?
um, easy pick would be Thunderstruck,
Okay.
but damn, it's kind of hard. But if I had to pick one, like I have to go with Mister for Christmas. I mean, come on.
It's fucking a banger. Like I
Yeah, I
mentioned
mean,
this
come on.
before, like with our Christmas stuff. Like you would never expect ACDC to make a Christmas song, but they fucking did. It's just it works
Mhm.
too.
I mean, yeah, it's like like I at least it like I said, like at least it's in my top 10
Yeah,
and not my like the bottom of the list, like the bottom of the barrel.
right. Now, fortunately for you guys, this I will not be mentioning the Razor's Edge in this episode. That album made my top 5, so I will let you guys know where the hell that ranks in part 3.
Yeah, my top 5, I think it's a solid top 5, I believe. I mean,
Mine was hard to be honest. My 6 and 5, I practically consider them tied. Speaking of 6, that leads me to number 6. My number 6 is For Those About to Rock. We salute you.
okay. My number 6 was Power Up.
Okay, there we go. There's Power Up.
Yeah, my number 6 was Power Up. Like I
Okay.
really, really enjoyed that album. I
It
really.
was really good. And considering it's a new AC/DC album, it's really fucking good. Like, considering how old these members are, and considering the fact Malcolm's gone, and they had Stevie, they brought in their nephew Stevie in there. Great fit, by the way. He's like probably the only one that could really kind of fill, like, not necessarily fill Malcolm's shoes, but kind of replace him. Heck, he's a fucking, his last name's Young. He's related to them.
Right.
Um, now, yes, for those about to rock, we salute you. That is my number 6. You put that way lower than I intended it to be, but that's okay. This album fucking blew me away. I love the sound of this album. It's another one of those albums I heard growing up but never got to listen to in full. This album absolutely blew me away, and it has one of my favorite songs on it, "Night of the Long Knives," and that's probably going to be my song I recommend to you guys. Please go listen to it. It is so fucking good. Brian's vocals are fucking superb on that track, and pretty much the whole album as well. There's like "Snowballed," "I Put the Finger on You," "Let's Get It Up," and of course, for those about to rock, we salute you. We can't forget that track. It's a really good album. Album cover is really basic. It's just canon, but it kind of self explains the album very very well, and
Mhm.
it's just I really could listen to that album over and over again, and I probably will end up going to listen to it next week because I haven't listened to it in a little bit. So yeah. Also, this album was the follow up album to Back in Black. This album came out in '81. Unfortunately, it did not sell as good as the previous album, which to be expected. Like nothing's gonna top Back in Black at this point. But it's still a really, really good album.
Mhm.
So let's hear what you have to say for Power Up.
So like you had mentioned it when you did Power Up, like, it was like very, very solid album. Like it like you said, like, like they're getting older, like their voices are changing. Like everything about them is changing. Like, like we said, like, like they're not gonna be around forever. And they've been around for like the longest time. And like the song that gets me sometimes is like Through the Mist of Time, but if I had to pick one, it'd be Witch's Spell.
Which is, I just fucking listened to that too before we got on.
Like Witch's Spell is like really fucking good.
It
I'm
is
like, oh
really
my
good.
God.
It kind of gives me old AC/DC vibes from like the 80s. Like it gives me that kind of vibe a little bit.
Mhm.
Well, that is concluding our part 2 of our AC/DC album ranking. We have one part left, and it's our top 5. Now I can kind of figure out what your top 5 is. Just because the only difference between your top 5 and my top 5 is one album. The other 4 we have in the same like category. Just I don't know where you rank them.
My mine my top five is like it's it's kind of probably gonna blow some people away. It's probably gonna blow you away,
Well, I
probably.
just have the same. Well, the only, like I said, there's only like one album that's going to be different from our top 5s. Because, like I
Well,
said, my top 5 has Razor's Edge in it. Yours does not. That's
yeah.
the only difference. But other than that, everything's going to be almost the same. It's just I don't know where you're going to place all these.
Mhm.
Jeez, this is going to be bad. Okay. Wow, this episode's shorter than I thought, but it's okay. At least we got through it. Where would you guys rank the albums that we just talked about? Where would you guys put those? Heck, if you guys watched part 1, how are we doing so far? You guys agree with us? You guys disagree? Let us know in the comments or even on social media. All right. So, Dystro, what's tonight's song of the night?
Well, hmm. Since we are still on the AC/DC train, kinda
Mm-hmm.
talking about, hmm, I'm probably gonna do. Hmm, good question. I'm probably gonna do uh Money Talks, maybe.
Oh, from Razor's Edge. Okay, yeah, we could do that. Jeez, I haven't actually. I heard that song not too long ago on the radio. That's another one that's like played a lot for me, but I don't mind. I like it. All right, so Money Talks from AC/DC's album The Razor's Edge is tonight's song of the night. If you guys are interested in taking a listen to it, be sure to click on the top right hand corner of the episode. Towards the end of this episode, a link will pop up. Go ahead and click it. It'll take you to the video. I'm going to try to put the music video because it's pretty good. Um, but yeah. All right, so this Sunday, what is this Sunday's date? The 12th. Wow, holy shit. We're almost halfway through the month already.
Oh, don't
So,
remind me. Don't remind me.
so that's on Sunday, the 12th. We are doing our monthly Shoot the Shit episode. This will be episode 4. It's a series that we've started back in November where we do it once a month and we just talk about anything. It's kind of like a mental break for us. We don't have to take notes. We don't have to stay on a set topic. We can just talk about whatever the hell comes to our minds. Uncensored, uncut, just everything straight. Like this is literally how Shoot the Shit works. So if you guys are interested in watching that, be sure to tune in Sunday night. It's gonna be a good one, considering a lot has happened in the past month. But yeah. Another little quick side note. So at this time, as you guys may remember, we started doing our Blink 182 pilgrimage back in January. At this time, we are almost done. We have 3 albums left. After tonight, there will be 2 albums left. Tonight, we're listening to Cheshire Cat, which came out back in '95. So I'm kind of interested to hear how this is going to sound because this is before Travis came into the picture.
Travis.
So sometime this year, I'm thinking very soon. I'm thinking springtime, maybe March and April. We will be doing some Blink 182 stuff on the channel. We're going to rank albums, and I don't know if we've done. a song ranking episode already. If we have, we're going to revisit it and compare what we said last year to what we would say this year for top 10 songs by Blink, because last year we didn't listen to a lot of Blink 182. We only knew like the basic stuff. Now we've almost covered their entire discography. So it's going to be very interesting. So I think a lot of Blink fans will like that.
It's I think like the one I think like album ranking and then song ranking we did. I remember it was like top 10. It was like Billy Talent when we first started out on YouTube
Right.
and stuff. And then we like did the album ranking and stuff. But like I know we have to kind of revisit the Billy Talent top 10 one because I know our songs
Our
have
lists are
changed.
going to be completely different,
Oh
I'm
yeah, like
thinking.
completely different. Um, because like I know like we have to like revisit that. There's like some things that like we're gonna be getting into like more with like like topics and stuff like that too, and like there's more bands to cover within the within the year. Like after Blink, we're like what going to Def Leppard
Def
next,
Leppard, that's going to be fun. And it's going to bring back so many memories for me.
and
Oh,
plus
man.
me being the novice Def Leppard fan I am, like I only know like Photograph
The main stuff.
and like some of the main stuff. She knows like if not all about Def Leppard if she can
Yes.
if she does. It's like I get to hear her fangirl out.
Yeah. Now, a little backstory. Since we're really early on time, I don't mind if we talk a little bit. Um, little backstory behind Def Leppard, quick little tidbit here. I have been a Def Leppard fan since I was around 7 years old. I had the poster, I had the T-shirt, I had almost all of their old albums. I fucking lost my Adrenalize album, which really pisses me off because that is one of my favorite Def Leppard albums. It's heavily underrated, heavily slept on. Um, I went to a Def Leppard concert when I was 10 years old, back in 2012, down in Saratoga Springs. Don't know if y'all know where that is. It's about 3 hours away from my location. Very, very awesome concert. It was an experience I'll never forget. They were on tour with Poison that year, so I got to see the best of both worlds there. Like, I love Poison, so um,
Mhm.
I love Def Leppard. Now, obviously, I haven't heard the new stuff. I haven't heard anything from like 2002 to now. So we're talking the albums X, yeah, um, there's a whole bunch of other ones, and including their new one, the Diamond Star Halos album. I haven't even heard that one yet. Um, so we're gonna cover all those and the old ones as well in our little pilgrimage. We're gonna start after Blink. We should be starting that in March, actually. So
Mhm.
that'll be perfect. So back to Blink. Yes, I just found right now we did do a top 10 Blink 182 songs episode 7 months ago. So we are going to have to revisit that in the spring and compare then to now. I also have Blink, not only Blink, but I also have, like you said, we're going to revisit the Billy Talent rankings this spring as well and compare it to now. Because, like you said, a lot of stuff has changed. We've covered their whole discography and stuff like that. It's going to be very interesting to see what what's changed. We haven't done Def Leppard yet, which is good. We haven't done that on the channel yet, so that's going to be brand new. We're not going to have to compare anything. Um, Now, Fall Out Boy is another group I'd like to really focus on this year as well. Sometime, maybe this summer. Um, we have done Fall Out Boy stuff on the channel,
Mhm.
but I think it was just the songs. We did a Let's Talk, and then we talked about our top 10 favorite Fall Out Boy songs. So that too, we're gonna have to revisit. But we never ranked the albums because I neither of us have listened to all the albums in full.
Mhm. Nope. Nope.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's gonna bring back a lot of memories for me, especially with the Def Leppard stuff. I'm ready for it, and I'm ready to discover new stuff too. That's like the big thing about doing these pilgrimages is because I like to find new music. I love the feeling of sitting down, listening to an album in full, not knowing half the songs off the top of your head, and just hearing them for the first time is just like magic when you fall in love with them. It's just pure fucking magic. I love the feeling. And like I said, I'm sure a lot of other people know that feeling too. If you're a music nerd like myself and like Dystro, like it's just such a magical feeling. Like you just want to keep listening to albums, like more. It's like, ugh,
Mhm.
I love it. Oh. But anyways, so, if you guys stuck around to the very end, we greatly appreciate your support. Be sure to follow us on social media by clicking on the link in the description below, which will take you to our link tree, which has everything there that you guys need, such as Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, and Dystro's Gaming YouTube channel, which he's on the road to 400 subscribers right now. He's doing very good. He's been uploading a lot of the UFC clips lately because he plays the UFC game on Xbox.
Yeah. I had made our boy Dexter Loomis as if he had kind of, if he did got fired. I'm not saying he will get fired, but if he did get fired and he just left WWE and just pursued the sport of MMA, going to UFC, and before he went to the next lowest weight class. He was on a winning streak, and he was, I think, 69-0.
69, nice.
Nice. Um, he was 69 wins and 0 losses, like straight, and all of his bouts and stuff would be less than maybe 30 seconds or almost to a minute.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just like I was just like, okay, all right. So
So yeah, if you guys want to see that and more gaming content on his channel, such as some games that me and Aisha played and we all play with my friends, so be sure to go check that out. Go subscribe to him. Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up to date with the podcast in case something happens and we can't upload. Once again, be sure to take a look at tonight's song of the night, Money Talks by AC/DC. And thanks for listening, guys. And we'll catch you this Sunday for Shoot the Shit. Peace.
peace.